All right, guys, good morning. This is another video where I'm trying to explain the difference between a scholarship. Most people usually want to ask that I need a graduate scholarship, I need a scholarship, I need a scholarship. So I'm trying to just do this simple video to explain the different types of scholarship we have for graduate school. As an international student, you need to understand these terms that you need to understand the kind of funding you should be looking for. Are you Because without understanding what you're looking for, it becomes difficult for you to get what you actually need. A lot of the time, people say, "Oh, I need scholarship, I need scholarship." Yes, there's a difference between the type of scholarship you actually need. So as a student coming from a foreign country, you need to understand. So when you're asking questions, it becomes easier for them to understand the kind of scholarship you're talking about. First and foremost, you want to consider that every scholarship that will take care of your tuition and will give you a monthly stipend. I would like to state this categorically that most US schools for international students do not, at least the ones that I'm familiar with, let me put it that way, do not um, offer students flight or accommodation as part of their scholarship if it is coming from the school itself. If you're getting a funding from the school, most, if not all, at least the ones I have personally seen or read or heard about, do not offer flight and accommodation. That they believe is your responsibility. Albeit some external scholarship, external source of funding might offer you these flight, accommodation, living expenses. Some external scholarships do offer that. So quickly, I'm using my own school as a reference. I want to talk about types of funding you want to look at. We have assistantship, fellowship, and definitely other sorts of funding, which is the external that I talked about. But as an international student, the most important thing you want to consider is what kind of funding am I getting? Am I getting a graduate assistantship? Now, graduate assistantships comes at three major types of graduate assistantship. You have, let me show you this. You have most graduate assistantships comes in either as a teaching, was the TA, or you have it as a research, the RA, or you can have it as the general administrative assistantship. That's the GA or the GAA, depending on what each school calls it or each acronym. So, graduate assistantship is a type of university based scholarship that is awarded to graduate students where you work for the school, either through the department or through a center for a minimum of 20 hours per week as an international student. You work for the school or the center. The center could be the research center that is awarding you the graduate assistantship, or it could be the department, or it could also be the campus administrative buildings where you work and you get paid. Now, what this graduate assistantship entails is when you're considered for the graduate assistantship, most times it covers your tuition and fees. It covers your full tuition, so you don't have to pay tuition. And then you get a monthly stipends This monthly stipends varies by department and it varies by award. Each school, each department within the school have a certain amount that they award to students. The master's programs have lesser stipends compared to the PhD program if you're on a graduate assistant as a PhD student. Okay, so we have the teaching assistant where you have to be you like you're a teacher, you're assisting an instructor, you're assisting a lecturer in the full sense. You're not doing the lecturing, but you're in the class assisting, maybe through grading of work or through marking script or coming up with tutoring student that might be struggling. It is assumed that you have done this class before or you have knowledge in this class, so you can teach, you can tutor students that are struggling. This is where the experience as a teacher from your home country or you've taught in, for those that does NYSC, where your teaching comes in, plays a very vital role in your decision, in their decision to award you a TA. Why that of a research assistant means that you're probably good with research methodology, you're in the lab always, you know what to do in the lab, so you're helping a lab to carry out any forms of research that the lab coordinator might want you to be involved with. Okay, that's what the research assistant does. It's the same principle. You get paid and they pay your tuition. Most times, the fund is different from that of the general TA because it's coming from a research grant that has been awarded to the lab, and that is a different ball game entirely. So the amount varies. Subsequently, you understand that when you said, okay, a faculty says, "Oh, I have a research grant," and that research grant means I can hire 3 or 4 graduate research assistant. So that's where it comes in. The amount usually varies from that is awarded by the department. Okay. Why the final one of a graduate assistant is the administrative. Now, what does this mean? It means that you will be an assistant. Let me just call it a simplified graduate secretary because you are helping with administrative work like running errands. I remember when I did one as an administrative GA, I was involved in just monitoring the labs where students come in on weekends to do their homework. I'll open it up and I'll close it at the end of the day. So that's just an administrative task because it was not attached to teaching or it was not attached to any research opportunity. So that explains that. That is for the graduate assistantship. The same thing is applicable to now you want to talk how do you it's applicable to the fellowship too. It's the same procedure, but how to apply is simply some school makes it compulsory for you to submit a different application for graduate assistantship. Like for this school, University of Louisiana at Lafayette, you can come here to complete an application form for the graduate assistantship. You fill the form and then you upload it to your application portal, then you hit submit, and then it goes into the graduate file where they put everything together and send it to the department for review. While in some schools, they have a box while you're in your application form where they ask you, do you want graduate assistantship? You either pick a yes or a no. So you just check the box here and then that's is how you apply for graduate assistantship in some schools. Now, one thing you should know about graduate assistantship, they have deadlines. Usually the deadline comes before the actual school deadline to submit application because it's a competitive, you want to able to submit your application on time and to be among the very first. so that you would have a review of, they would have, let's just say, share the money, share the money, share the opportunity before others latecomer comes in. So you want to be among the very first people. So if you see on this school side, it's saying that a graduate assistantship, the deadline to apply for fall is by March 1st. So you don't want to wait until February 28th before you apply for this. You want to apply way as soon as you're sending in your application before the actual school deadline for application. You've already completed those processes. Early application is key for this. See, that's what they say there. What is the tip now? Make sure to contact your graduate coordinator to find out about teaching and research assistantship that is applicable and available to your program. Why is this important? It is not all program that offers departmental assistantship, either as a TA or RA. So you have to know first and foremost. I do encourage students. First thing you want to check: does the department have a graduate assistantship? If they don't, then you look at, okay, do the school have a general administrative assistantship? If these two things does not exist in your program or within the school, dead it, bury, kill. Don't go forward, because you cannot pay the tuition except if you're from a very wealthy home and you want to pay out of pocket, which you can do that, which is cool. But for some of us, we understand that you need the assistantship in order to what? To process your admission. Don't first of all go after admission. Admission might be easy to get if there is no graduate assistantship from the department or from the school. It's going to be a big challenge for you. I hope this helps clarify that. And as you go through the school website, is all the information you need is always going to be there. For fellowship, it's just the same thing. A graduate fellowship is also a form of financial assistance that is offered on a competitive basis. The recipient also receive the tuition waiver, and they give them monthly stipends. But the major difference from fellowship is that it is focused on a research area. It is focused on a particular area of study. Now, it is not just awarded anyhow. It is department that is awarded to either a research center where you have to be more involved in research. Okay, it says, right, some PhD program also offers university research fellowship with higher stipends and similar tuition fee waiver. So you also want to contact the coordinator to find out if they offer something like that. Now, each of them have eligibility, which I did not mention. You have to be able to meet, if you can see here, you have to have a 3.5 graduate undergraduate work, your GPA. Your GPA must be between 3.5 when you're applying, if you want to be considered for this, okay? For if you already have a master's before, you need a 3.7 from your master, okay, to be eligible. The same thing is applicable to the master's fellowship too. You have a 3.5 overall undergraduate GPA, okay, or 3.3 of no more than 12 hours credit hours that you have taken before. How to apply for the fellowship? Make sure you meet the minimum eligibility requirement that you stay seen above. You have to also complete an application for either the master's or the graduate or the doctoral fellowship application, and you have to submit it in your portal when you're applying to. Okay, so that's all on fellowship, graduate fellowship, and also graduate assistantship. The final one I quickly want to talk about is the external fellowship, which is also the external funding. Now, these are institutions, government institution, private institution, community centers, or individuals that have money that wants to help other humanity or students. So you can see them all listed here. You can go and apply to them. Most of them will ask you for competition. You might do an essay writing competition. They might interview you, and then if you qualify, they will award you the um the fellowship. Okay, and once they award you the fellowship, it will go into paying your tuition and also gives you a monthly stipend, depend on what it is covered. Now, some will tell you that they're only giving you maybe $500. Some might offer you the whole tuition. That is why I usually try to explain that you want to find anything that you're getting should be something that covers the whole of your tuition and then gives you a monthly stipends to go with it. Some scholarship, if you go through all this, does not cover the whole of your tuition. So take note of that. Some does not cover the whole of your tuition. So you want to make sure you understand that principle, understand that part of it very well. Okay. And also, finally, you have to see if you come here, some are not program specific. Why some are? This one says Social Science and Humanity Research Council Doctoral Fellowship. If you click on the link, it will take you to their site where you can read about it. And then this one is actually from the government of Canada. See, it says the value is 20,000 per year for a duration of 12, 24, 36, or 48 months. So this is for this one, okay? It's a different ball game entirely. It has a deadline to apply and all the good stuff. Now, if you come to, let's try another one. This is the Hess Foundation Graduate Fellowship Award. Heggs Foundation. This is a foundation that is offering you. So you have to come find out what is their areas of impact, explore many ways health fellows are making positive impact on the humanity, national security, energy, any field at all. Okay. So you find out how much they are awarding for their program. Then you see, how do I apply for that? It's going to be everything you need is going to be stated there. The Ford Foundation Predoctoral Fellowship Program. You see this to it will take you to their site where this is only applicable to US citizens, and basically this is not for international because it is going to clearly state the eligibility for their program. Okay, so this one you will not qualify for it as an international student. And then you look into which one is applicable, that most eligibility will tell you what it is for and how you can benefit from it. Okay. All right. That will be all from types of funding, types of scholarship in this sense. Now, what are the types of scholarship you need to know? The graduate assistantship, the graduate fellowship, and also the external fellowship. Okay. I think that should be all for now. If you have any other question, please let me know in the comment section of this YouTube video. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and retweeting. Bless you.